I went back on my promise to help my sister pay for her wedding when she wouldn't move the date. My sister Katie had been planning this massive wedding for like 8 months. She was getting married to this guy Trevor who seemed nice enough, but honestly their whole relationship felt kind of rushed to me. They'd only been together for a year and a half when he proposed, but whatever, not my business, right? Anyway, Katie came to me in March asking if I could help pay for the wedding. She knew I'd been saving up money from my job at the tech company, and she was basically broke because she'd been working part-time at some retail store while going to school. The wedding was gonna cost like $22,000, which seemed insane to me, but she had her heart set on this fancy venue and all that stuff. I told her I could probably help with like $5,000, which was honestly a huge chunk of my savings, but she's my only sister, and I wanted her to be happy. The wedding was scheduled for September 15th. Here's where it gets complicated. Back in January, before any of this wedding stuff came up, my best friend Jake had asked me to be his best man. His wedding was September 22nd, exactly 1 week after Katie's. I'd already booked my flight to Denver where his wedding was gonna be, already got my tux fitted, already planned the bachelor party for that summer, the whole thing. So when Katie asked me for money, I told her about Jake's wedding and said as long as there wasn't any conflict, I was happy to help her out. She said September 15th was perfect, and that was that. Fast forward to June. Katie calls me up freaking out because the venue double booked their date. Apparently some other couple had put down a deposit for September 15th like 6 months before Katie did, and the venue screwed up their booking system. So now Katie had to pick a new date. The venue offered her September 22nd, the exact same day as Jake's wedding. I told Katie she needed to pick a different date. There were other Saturdays available in October, even some in late September, but she was being super stubborn about it. She said September 22nd was the only date that worked because Trevor's family was flying in from Oregon, and they could only come that specific weekend because of some family reunion thing the week after. I explained to her that I'd already committed to being Jake's best man like 5 months before she even got engaged. I'd already spent money on flights and the bachelor party. Jake was counting on me, but Katie just kept saying family should come first and that Jake would understand. The thing is, Jake wouldn't understand. This guy had been my best friend since we were like 12 years old. We went through high school together, college, everything. When his dad died junior year, I was the one who drove 6 hours to be at the funeral. When I was going through my nasty breakup with my ex-girlfriend, Jake let me crash at his place for 3 weeks. There was no way I was gonna bail on his wedding. I told Katie I'd still help pay for her wedding if she picked literally any other date. October 7th was available, October 14th, even September 29th, but she wouldn't budge. She said if I really cared about her, I'd skip Jake's wedding. That's when I realized she wasn't asking me to help pay for her wedding anymore. She was basically trying to buy my attendance with my own money. Like she thought because I was contributing financially, I had to do whatever she wanted. So I told her I was pulling out of helping pay for the wedding. If she wanted to have it on September 22nd, that was her choice. But she'd have to figure out the money situation on her own. Katie completely lost it. She started screaming at me over the phone, saying I was ruining her wedding and being a terrible brother. She hung up on me and didn't talk to me for like 3 weeks. Eventually our mom got involved and tried to play mediator. She kept saying we were both being stubborn and needed to compromise, but I didn't see what I was supposed to compromise on. I'd made a commitment to Jake first, and Katie knew about it when she asked for my help. Katie ended up keeping the September 22nd date. She had to take out a loan to cover the $5,000 I was going to contribute. Plus, she had to cut back on some of the fancy stuff she wanted. Instead of the expensive flowers, she went with something cheaper. Instead of the fancy dinner, they did a lunch reception.